Well, hello, back again. Boy, have we ever been through it with power outages and internet outages and all of that, and it just doesn't matter. We're back, and I am just so excited about today. I am bringing to the group Miss Ophelia Banks with a great big smile. You look like you just hey, nothing phases you, girl.
Hey there, Miss Gail.
How you doing?
Great, great. Thanks for having me.
Good. So I just want to welcome everyone here. Please be sure to listen carefully, and we want you to, to like and to follow what we're doing here with Dynamic Divas of Destiny. Just want to help everyone join together in community and become like the best possible selves that we can be. We focus on health and wealth, and today, Miss Ophelia Banks from Wealth Builders Worldwide, and Miss Ophelia, will you just give a short introduction as to how your life has been, how you got to Wealth Builders, and this fabulous quote that you have for today? We're going to put that up and let you just break it down for us, girl. So,
All right. Well, Miss Gail, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and thanks for providing this platform, which I think is so important for women to gather together. During this time, of course, we can't do a lot of gathering physically, and so this is an absolute fabulous platform and me to still gather, still get together, to still share ideas and still love on each other
that's right.
as women. I don't like those adages and things about, women not being able to get along. I try at every turn to dispel those things, right?
There
And
you
this
go.
is a perfect platform to show that we support each other, we love on each other in so many different ways. And so thanks again for providing this platform and having this available to everyone to enjoy. And so I am Ophelia Banks. Wealth building. Wealth building is something that's been so important to me growing up and seeing my mom, of course, and grandmother just be so involved in the community and with other women and with each other, that dynamic. And so, and just seeing them do it so gracefully and so powerfully, just made such an impact, right? So we just want to continue to carry that on and to share
Mhm.
that. I have sisters, so I am I have I have three other sisters and a brother. And so we as sisters, we try to do that within our family, but then you also have your workplace. You also have your church members. You also have in these other ladies groups, I was actually a soccer mom as well. He's well past soccer these days, but but I have three boys, and they are all grown. I did have one of those 2020 graduates that didn't get a chance to do a lot of the typical things, but he is doing well, and so um, so in expanding, let's just talk about this. Exposure creates expansion, right?
Let me just
So
put that up here. Here is your
yeah.
quote. I read that, Miss Ophelia, and I went, whoa, what on earth does that? I
Yeah.
mean, it's deep. You can tell that, but come on, break it down for us.
Well, and of course, and I've been married over 40 years. And so when you think about exposure and expansion, you get a lot and you learn a lot, right? Over a period of time. And like I said, so that's my family dynamic. And then being in the insurance industry, um, one of the good hands people for over 30 plus years.
Who's that company?
So being in the workplace, you learn a lot about, you get exposed to a lot of different dynamics and cultures and people and ways of thinking, right? And so that will take you along a journey for sure, of a lot of different ways, a lot of different paths. So, but anyway, that whole dynamic of having that and having children, just that whole thing, it will make you expand, right? And it will expose you. Ready or not, here it comes. Ready or not, here it comes. So when I thought about a quote, Ms. Gill's asking about a quote, and I thought about, exposure creates expansion. And if we can just, it happens, I think, whether we want it to or not. I think sometimes we don't realize it. We don't always do it on purpose, but the exposure, and I think a lot of times as a parent, we think of it in way of our children. When our children are coming up, we want them to be exposed to a lot of good things,
A lot of good things.
right? And so you let them try soccer, and you let them try the guitar and the piano, and you let them try all these different things because you figure that exposure will create this expansion in them, and then they'll lean one way or the other, whatever, and you go from there. And then, of course, on the other side, bad exposure, that's why we a lot of times will say, well, maybe don't hang around that friend, or be careful, because that exposure, again, even in on the negative side or on a bad side, right, can also create some things. So I think there's a lot there to unpack, and exposure creates expansion, because it's how we're wired. I think that's how our Creator made us. That when we're exposed to things, it gives us the capacity to believe. I think it gives us it gives us the an aha moment that, oh, that exists. Is that something that's possible for me? And then once you are so inclined, usually there's not much that can stop us once it's, and then I'm gonna go back to women here. I'm gonna go back to women, because we're talking about divas here. If we're exposed to something and it's something that we're inclined to do, and we lock arms to get it done, it's done.
It's
It's
done.
over. It's over. And so again, I think the exposure to something is that you see something, or you hear something, or you read something, right? You have that aha moment, and then creating expansion gives us that increase in our belief, our capacity to take action. Right. And so I love that we are wired that way. And I feel like I'm not exposed to anything that we don't already have the wherewithal to make it happen. If that's something that we want to do and pursue and all that, I just think that we can. Now, the doing, it may take some development on our part. Right. And so I think that's the next step, though, that a lot of us may or may not take, is that the development to go ahead and to create that, so that we can move forward, with it. And so, going back to when you were talking about wealth building. And so in that area, well, maybe it's something, we're not comfortable with, or something that we are that familiar with, but we can do anything. So when we go on to social media, or when we pick up a book, or when we whatever, to expose us, you hear something, and then you're exposed to it. So now we've got to do something. We've got to do something to move us in that area. And even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just taking a little step, in that direction, I find that when we take that little step, it's just like the way is made for us to take 2 or 3 more steps.
The water's part.
Yeah. Now we can do it. Now we can do it.
Yes.
And maybe you've never done it before. And then it's like, once you do it, then it's just like, was it that easy? What was I afraid of? What was I scared of to get that done,
Miss Ophelia, you just said something that really resonated with me, because I'm basically a lazy person. Okay. And I like, Jim Rohn kind of says, lazy means you'd rather do it easy than do it hard. Okay. But you just said something, and I think for all lazy people like me, the exposure is what creates the expansion. Yeah, I got to do something, but I just keep exposing myself. And then the creating of the expansion happens easy rather than hard. So you keep showing up and you keep getting exposed, and it's fun.
You know what? And I think, but see, you have to think about, that's what a commercial is. They may not necessarily And even on social, okay, that's old school, right? A commercial, because most of young people don't watch
Yeah.
that much TV anymore, but they are on their phones all the time. So I consider commercial the same thing as something that's in your feed. Okay, young folks, let's take it there. But they show it to you again and again and again. And once they expose you to that so many times, the next thing you know, my son got something from Amazon the other day, and it was something so out of, and I said, aha, your social media got you, didn't it? It got you. And next thing you know, it's coming to the door.
Action is easy if you just keep exposing yourself to, as you said, the good stuff, the right
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
Then the
Absolutely.
action becomes so much. I like that.
And so that's what we're going to keep doing. We're going to keep exposing ourselves to many facets of wealth when we start talking about wealth building.
Yeah.
And don't just keep it to one area. If we're talking about gold, if we're talking about silver and some of that perks your interest, if we're talking about cryptocurrency, you may not know anything. I mean, all you've heard maybe is Bitcoin, and that's all you know about it.
Mhm.
You know what? I say YouTube is your friend. We're on there learning how to do our eyebrows. We're on there learning how to put on eyelashes. We're on there learning how to cook our favorite meal. We're on there doing everything else. Go ahead on and click over there and see what does YouTube have to say about gold? What does it have to say about
Yeah.
silver? And just do a little something. Maybe, if that's your comfortability area, do a little something, and you will find that, oh, that wasn't so hard. It'll be at your door before
At your door. I like that. So the wealth will be at your door, just like that Amazon package.
hey, the wealth will be at your door. I love that. Look, we need to write that down and coin that. The wealth will be at your door.
Amazon's going to deliver wealth to your door. Yes.
Sooner than later.
Sooner than later.
We want it sooner than later.
Miss Ophelia, that was amazing. You have changed. Now, every time I get an Amazon package, I'm going to be wealth.
Absolutely.
So exposure creates expansion. We all want expansion. We want, when it comes to our wealth, we want it to grow and grow and grow. And you have that legacy of women in your family who have passed things on to you, and you are on a mission to pass it on a mission.
Absolutely. Wow. Don't keep it a secret. If you know something, if you had some exposure to something, don't keep it to yourself. Let's pass it on. When my boys were coming up, even stocks, one way I introduced that to them was my middle son. He wore Vans. He loved the Vans brand when he was coming up. And so one day I said, let's go on the internet. Let's find out who owns the company. And I found out some things, and he found out some things. And I said, well, let's go on and see how much it is.
Yeah.
And then I bought him some. So then he so his capacity to even know something about that area or how it works, just introducing. Because sometimes all you have to do is give the introduction, and then it'll kind of take over itself. You'll find your way on in there. But just exposure will give that expansion. It'll lead to it. It'll create it.
Wow. You remind me of, I follow Robert Kiyosaki. I like his advice. I mean, he's a gruff old ex-Marine. I don't like his language sometimes. I don't like his politics sometimes. I don't like his religion most of the time. But what he says about how to build wealth, and he made a statement, and you just exemplified it. He said, invest in what you love.
Invest in what you love.
Invest in so if you like the Vans, you teach the kids to invest in what they
already like.
Yeah.
They already have some connection there, right?
A connection. Yeah. They don't have to go out and be a tennis shoe creator. They just invest in a shoe company, right?
And who doesn't like making money?
Who doesn't?
So when they understand that that's a way that they can create some income or create some wealth, for themselves, that interest will spark there.
you're brilliant. You're brilliant as a mom. You're brilliant
Okay.
as a wealth builder. You're like a beautiful diva who's teaching us all.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're all constantly learning, right? That
Yes,
rubber band that expands out and it doesn't, they say it pops back. I think it does pop back to an extent, but it never goes quite exactly back the way it was. There's still a little bit of wherever you took it to. Now it's been exposed, right? It's been exposed to to a little bit wider. We want to, widen our territory, expand our reach. And so that's what that exposure can do for us. Yeah, in so many different areas, right? In our family, and our finances, and your spiritual life, in your career. I mean, in business, you can just take it just in any area because that expansion of information. Um, I'll just tell you one more quick story. My
Mhm.
youngest son, we were in church one evening and they were advertising a Bible, not a college, but a course, a Bible course that you could take. And he said, and at that time he probably was about 15,
Mhm.
and he said, "Mom, can we do that?" And I said, "What do you want to take the course?" And he said, "Yeah." And I thought, wow, look at that, and I just them talking about it and just making it available, just that exposure, you know.
Exposure.
And we took that class and we graduated from that class together. It's something that I'll never forget because he's the one who initiated that. And we both learned so much, and it's just this lovely thing that I will always have. And it's nothing that I did. We know God did it, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it was the exposure. It
Yeah.
was the exposure that he even had that, oh, is that something that we can do? And we did it together. So just a lovely quick memory there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Ophelia, I'll tell you, I can't wait to have you back. I've got a couple of other topics that we need to unpack together. But for today,
Let's do it.
creates expansion. I will never see the word exposure the same way again. I will never see expansion the same way again. And certainly when I think of creating something, I'm going to think of the easiest way I can create it is by exposing, exposing, exposing.
Let's do it.
And that's what Dynamic Divas of Destiny is all about. Ladies, you heard it here. We are a community designed to expose all of us to
Mhm.
what we know we want. We want health and we want wealth.
Absolutely.
And the more you come here, the more you get exposed, the more you hear, the more you see the faces and the enthusiasm and the plans and the schemes, the easier it's going to be for you to expand your own horizons. So that's really
Absolutely.
thank you, Miss
Thank you.
Wealth Builders Worldwide. Thanks to everyone, and I just ask you please to to go in the chat, leave your comments. We'd like to hear what exposure means to you. We'd like to hear how expansion, what that means to you.
Absolutely.
And we certainly hope you continue to follow Dynamic Divas of Destiny. Stay tuned, stay safe, stay warm, because that's what divas do.
That's what divas do.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.